Yep, and this should be a great one. We obviously saw 3-0s on both sides here. Fairly convincing 3-0s, and that was a while ago. It is worth noting these teams have not played in about 2-ish hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours, somewhere in that range. So, I think that both of them have waited about the same time. I don't know that it's the biggest factor, but it is a factor to note. But yeah, looking at these teams, might be the two best slaying teams in terms of the KAs that they were able to put out in those first matches. And I don't know here. It's tough to say what the difference here is going to be.
Yeah, we don't really have, besides Splatoon 1 records, we don't really obviously have records for any of these teams. It's going to be really hard to spot out what exactly will separate these teams from that standpoint alone. But when you look at the caliber of both these teams in their individuals, in their composure as a team, it's tough. It really is. And this is Extermination, an incredibly aggressive side that, such aggression that we've rarely seen to that extent in Splatoon across both teams. But we've seen Deadbeat, of course, play to a caliber that most Western teams haven't. So when putting the two things together, I wonder how well Deadbeat will deal with that kind of aggression. It honestly feels like they're smart enough. They have the tact to be able to do so. They've proven so in the past. But it's been some close sets in the past. We've said it so often. I expected it out of Rising Moon and Crown Fresh. But if there's going to be a set to be seen, a game that's going to be incredibly close, I call it at the very beginning. I'm looking forward to this one. Deadbeat and Extermination.
Going to be a very, very exciting set. All of them at this point are. We've said that so many times. But really, this is a matchup that we haven't seen. All of these matchups are matchups we haven't seen in Splatoon 2. Let's be clear. Every matchup that we're seeing right now is writing the history of Splatoon 2. These are the founding days. These will be the building blocks for what we see in the future. So I know we say we're excited for this set a lot, but you have to understand what this means in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, I'm... this set is going to be certainly this tournament is kind of serving as the foundation for what hypothetical rankings can come out of this. What, I don't think there's going to be power rankings, so to speak, so immediately after the launch. But this is where we kind of build our base off of where teams think, okay, this is the team to beat. This is how we operate against this team. So we're better than this team because they beat that team and whatnot. And yeah. But this is kind of the ground level for Splatoon 2. And hopefully in this ground level, Deadbeat, I hope that Deadbeat does face this competition head on.
I hope so too. We are going to take a very short 2-minute break here to get things set up with the new lobby. Don't go anywhere. This is G7 Splatoon Winners Semifinals, Deadbeat Extermination coming right at you. And welcome back, everybody, to G7. I am joined now by Hitzel, a little bit of a sub here. Hitzel, you watched all of yesterday. I've assumed you've watched pretty much everything today. What's your take, man?
Well, first off, I think that a lot of these teams have come up with some pretty clever comps and found some pretty good ways to get their map control, get their slaying going on. A lot of what we've been watching, Frank and I have been doing and using our money tickets in between sets and just watching afterwards. And a lot of what we've been paying attention to are team comps and how certain teams are being successful with certain types of weapons, certain teams are not. And because in a game that's this early, a lot of the time, how fast you can adopt to new strategies and new team comps, etc., is going to have a big impact of how well you do. So in addition to individual decision making and individual plays being good or bad, we've also been paying attention to how teams have been constructing themselves, how they've been changing their comps for different maps, have players been picking stuff based on what they think is good. Maybe we know that this particular player plays a certain weapon, they're sticking with what they're doing. So it's just kind of cool to see it all play out and to see what ends up kind of bubbling up to the top.